everybody, this is Jiangha here once again, and after much request and much delay, about 3 years worth of delay, Pachimon Final Wars finally came out with the quote-unquote current official version. This is the quote-unquote complete version as of now, and it came out on January 5th. And after waiting for 3 freaking whole years, I get to play this thing, yay! But keep in mind that those silhouettes back there, those are not actually what the 4 fake, or what the 4 Heavenly Kings look like. Well, at least I'm going to call them 4 Heavenly Kings, because I really don't know how to translate exactly what the Japanese says on there. But, yeah, this is going to be some, this is going to be a little bit of narration for, how much footage I've gathered as of now, and basically responds to fan feedback about, you know, me needing to look at this game. And even though I've already said a billion times that yes, I'm already going to take a look at it, and yes, I pretty much know everything. Now, this picture right here of Computron's background was released a couple years ago, actually, when Pacific Rim first came out. Now, we're going to do all of our things in training mode, and I'm going to show off my stuff in a non-particular order. So first of all, it's Kanchenga. That is the new kaiju, that one of the new characters have been introduced, and as obviously seen, I modded my console a little bit to show a few more different characters, such as Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Spider-Man, etc. But yeah, right now we're just going to demo out Kanchenga a little bit, and Kanchenga is really weird. Its roar is really annoying, mainly because it's just a screaming woman. But beyond that, I have never figured out what this move does. It summons this little, but it could be jump freak thing, I honestly don't know what it is. But everything else is basically regarding the use of what looks like a Aurora Borealis or some sort of sparkly material. Otherwise, it's a very powerful multi-hitter that doesn't really work on anything without, you know, refreshing hitboxes like Ultraman. So, yeah, Kanchenga is not like a very good character, but I do appreciate how it's animated. Next up, we're gonna be taking a look at one of the other updates, which is Puredon. Puredon got a major overhaul in sprite design, and now instead of having a skull for a shield or a plate that says gold for a shield, and yeah, it just changes his body entirely gold. Attacks didn't change, but the walking animation did change, and there's that gold shield I was talking about. It does, like most of these shields, it's good for one hit, and that's it. Puredon also gained an assist character in the form of basically a bigger Puredon. And there it is. It travels across the screen. Pretty lame, actually, if you think about it. But beyond that, there's not much else different about Puredon. Everything else basically remains the same. Not a very well changed character. Next up, we're gonna be taking a look at Adult. Now, Adult didn't get any major changes other than the fact that his density was increased, so now he doesn't bounce around whenever he's hit like in previous builds. But beyond that, everything else is pretty much identical with Adult. But as you can see, when Ultraman hammers on him, he doesn't get flinched or knocked around, or so you can't see, you know, the fact that he's only got like an upper body, and a little over half the body is permanently rooted on the ground. In the previous builds, he can be knocked all over the place, and the same problem will come up again with other characters that we'll talk about in the very near future. But as of now, yeah, that's a good change. Next up is one of the newest characters, Godzilla, or Gajira. I have no freaking clue who came up with this guy, but I think this is Kozeni's take on the Pokemon Mega Evolution franchise. Mainly because this thing evolves. It's basically a tractor with what appears to be Godzilla's head on it. It does the whole elbow rocket thing from Pacific Rim, and its home stage, Hong Hong, actually uses Pacific Rim's music. And it, which I didn't show off here because this is training mode, the entire screen gets a red filter over it. But aside from that, there's not a lot to say about this character. This is one of the more heavily advertised characters when the first game's trailer was made. And there's the first transformation into the silver form, or whatever the hell they want to call it. I have no freaking clue. And that's probably because I never read the instructions or the readme files on any of these characters, but whatever. But yeah, starting with the silver form, you get the jump, and as long as the enemy has a hitbox, you can do jumping damage. Yay! Elbow Rocket is here again, and every time you evolve, you start taking more damage, but you also get a slightly better, you also get a power up and a speed up. So that's kind of worth something. You can only level up by taking damage though, so keep that in mind. And as we close in, we're going to be taking a look at his third transformation, which is a parody of Pokemon's Mega Evolution, no doubt, because it's literally the same sprites and the same symbol up there. But you get a major speed increase, you get a major attack increase, which you can't really see because Adult has really high defense now after it got buffed. And you can see the Elbow Rocket in action here, but unlike in single-player mode, it doesn't shoot an energy beam out in training mode, which I don't understand. Because usually it will shoot out a purple energy beam. Other than that, there's nothing much to say about Godzilla. Next up, we're going to take a look at Sarkodie, the Invader from Sarkodie Invader. Now, I didn't show him off on his personal stage, but this is one of the new stages, Armageddon, which is the host to another monster. Sarkodie is incredibly broken. It is a two-button character that can double jump, but the eye laser can be spammed even if you don't have a full bar, even if you don't have 1 bar of energy. So as long as you have energy buildup in that green bar, as you see over there, you will be able to spam eye lasers. That's kind of cheap. Next up, it's Aizen no Kaiju, Oshima Aizen no Kaiju. This is apparently taken from a newspaper clipping from many years ago, and this guy is pretty weird. Now, a lot of these new characters have some randomizer elements to them. For example, as you can see now, pressing B on the controller makes him spit acid, which is green. But you can also have him spit fire for some reason. Special attack is impaling somebody with your nose, and it can double jump as well as do a whiplash, so this guy has a truckload of mobility. Unfortunately, his attacks aren't exactly very powerful, and his defense is rather mediocre. His start button makes him taunt, or roar, or whatever how you want to call it, but whatever. Next up is another sprite change, and that's Sumo God. Sumo God is its sprite change, his entire layout is different now, and instead of doing the usual shooting out stuff, he can now actually claw people, and his special attack got changed from a barrage to creating an environmental hazard, which constantly damages the opponent over time and causes hit stun animation to happen whenever they are hit. Which is extremely cheap if you can keep spamming it, but unfortunately you probably can't. I kind of miss Sumoga's old stance where he was kind of half squatting, but I guess, this is the way it's going to be from now on. The new walk animation looks great, and the taunt looks pretty good too, and just him rearing backwards. Now we're going to take a look at some top kaiju. First up is #1 kaiju of the world, and this is the part of the video where I have to skip around a whole lot just because I kind of forgot to show off his home stage, or I forgot to show off the intro cutscene for this character. But other than that, yeah, this is a whole, minute or something worth of filler. This is Mount Bandai, one of the new stages, and it goes with Aizen no Kaiju, which I never showed off. Salt Lake got a little change in music, and yeah. Kong Hong, as I mentioned before, and Vertex of the World. Vertex of the World is the stage that goes with this guy, and the background music is a remix of the theme to Kamen Rider Super 1. But, yeah. #1 Kaiju of the World is a big powerhouse of a character. It's very slow, it's got high defense, but it's also got crushing power. And you also get some assists for both of these boss characters. For example, right now it's the Warudo brothers, aka the knockoff Ultra brothers, who run around and try to help you as much as you can. Unfortunately, they don't really do much from my overall. It's usually they just, waste space. It's not really like they do much in particular. You get a variety of, and I think this entire part of it works out pretty well. This character looks nice, and I think the animations are pretty well done for what they are, but the problem is, it's not made for some characters. Against #1 Kaiju of the world is to just park yourself in between its chest because it doesn't have a hitbox for it to stop you, and just damage him while stuck in his sprite where he can't damage you. Unfortunately for wider characters like Kamen Sunder, and for random characters like Metanora, it doesn't really work. Next up is Bagon. Bagon is another one of those kaiju that actually has a vinyl figure of himself. If I can find it, I'll link it down below in the description, but usually not. It's goes as I said before. This is the this guy's theme stage is Armageddon, which unfortunately uses the same music, a Bach piece, as Honda. Now again, Bagon has a bunch of randomized motions, and hitting each attack does different things. Like for example, the forward slash and the downward slash are both A random. The special attack is always the same though, which is nice. Pressing B can either make you shoot the energy bullet or make you throw that spear as seen before. And the gimmick of this kaiju cannot be shown off in survival mode, in training mode, because the gimmick is once you kill him, he self-destructs, but his health bar refills to full, and you have to fight off multiple copies of this guy, and each of them takes off like a quarter per hit. His block is also very interesting. Just quick mentions: Aizen no Kaiju and #1 Kaiju of the World cannot block. Bagon's block actually has a counterattack lash to it, which makes it the most useful block out of every single other block. But yeah, we can't gimmick here, mainly because this is training mode after all. Now I am going to try and do a full playthrough of this game, but right now this is just a video covering the update, so you know, not much has changed. But I will say it is a neat concept, and here's me just trying to, you know, get this gimmick to work, and eventually trying. I've done at all, so yeah. Kind of unfortunate that it doesn't really work whatsoever. Next up, the strongest kaiju of the world. His stage is, I think, the end of the legend, where it uses Ultraman Leo's theme song. The end of legend, there we go. It doesn't have it's easily one of the most broken monsters ever, because it has no knockback, it has no recovery, it has, uber powerful moves, and you have to rely on health kits that random airplanes drop, which this monster can also destroy. Now, as you can see, I'm going to have a dog pick up some health packs here. Some of the attacks on this guy are incredibly cheap. For example, Daimajin's Daimajin head can shoot acid and freeze you, and it leaves you stunned for quite a while, leaving to a lot of opportunities for free hits. And I also think it's kind of weird how he can destroy those support crafts. Again, the usual gimmick strategy is just rail on him and walk through him when you have the chance. Because a lot of these monsters don't have hitboxes in their body, so you can't actually just walk right through them. They don't really exist. But other than that, there's not much to say about him. Finally, we have the Grand Dragon, easily the weirdest of the bunch. His stage is called the Age of Genesis, and this guy is really weird. Now, the Grand Dragon's gimmick is that it stays still and it charges until its energy bar reaches level 3, and then it can one-shot kill you unless you walk across it when its energy bar reaches 2. Damaging it will lower its energy bar count, but you can it obviously charges faster than you can damage him. It has 3 beam attacks: Thunder Beam, Fire Beam, Ice Beam, and Rainbow Beam. And it's basically like Pokemon. It's kind of like the 3 legendary birds, if anything. I actually kind of like this guy's concept, but I don't really like the theme music. Kamase. That was the file name for it. I honestly don't know where this thing is from, but yeah, no, not a huge fan of how this thing was actually handled, because it's not really a character. It's kind of just there. It's just really freaking weird. It can walk, but it cannot walk while it's charging. Go with the final character, the final boss, Final Wars. What's another gimmick that we can't feature? I don't know why I started off doing random, because I really just should have shown his stage, End of the World. Or Final Wars. Final Wars as a character can spawn Pachimon to use as shields or for extra damage. It's the same type of Pachimon that you can find in Pachimon Gundan. But most of its attacks are basically copied from the 4 heavenly characters. Now in the game, the mechanic is that if you defeat your opponent as this guy, they will be respawned as the king of Pachimon. And but the problem is the King of Pachimon can be completely broken for characters that don't have special attack buttons mapped to their control schemes. The King of Monsters cannot activate its special attack. And for characters without shields, such as Cozy, well, you're also kind of screwed, considering that something. So that this gimmick definitely needs to be better implemented. It's completely broken at this point in development, and it's just kind of sad. Finally, let's take a look at a couple other minor changes. For example, Oxydoron, I think, for first. I spent a lot of time jumping around on this menu, I don't know why. Oxydoron got a good change and got a major amount of change in his sprite and gained a support character that was different from the previous Ultraman that kept flying through the screen for, whatever reason. I think that guy got canned. Instead, we have some sort of abomination coming in. The moveset was also changed where he uses more holograms than anything to attack. And the special attack got completely changed to just 2 holograms beating the hell out of Central Monster instead of making a bunch of holograms that shoot people. His block also got changed to just, him coughing into his arm. And that just blocks one hit like every other shield. And it's pretty useless overall. So this part of the video is mainly just to show off Zarkor's stage. I forgot what it's called. I think it was called Ground. Yeah, Ground of Awakening. I don't know why it's got this anime song next to it and why everything is hand drawn versus previously with everything else, which is with all the other Pachimon, it was all cut from trading cards and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, that's the stage. It looks like it's got a lot of effort put into it, and I'm incredibly surprised as to how much effort actually went into making this thing. Finally, let's take a look at the last 2 updates that this game has to offer. Number 1 is Shelltag as adult, where it doesn't go flying everywhere anymore, and also it's got a huge buff in defense, a huge buff in health. And it's just, plenty more powerful than it was before. Instead of shooting random bombs with short range, it now shoots energy beams. And the special attack is now worth pulling off because it does a whole lot of damage. It's just a good character overall now. It went from completely unusable to completely usable. Now, when can we see that done to Common Thunder? I do not know, but I am gonna be the first to jump on that bandwagon. We need to buff Common Thunder. Next up, it's Dolphin. Dolphin got a huge change to his sprite because now he looks much better than before, and we have a Dobutsu Friends stage that exists for some reason. His normal attacks change from like a short-range beam to a long-range beam and shooting fish to charging at people. His shield changed from a anti-tank armor to a person, and his special attack was completely changed to just having a huge rush.